But so, you know, the survivor's running in and you're chasing her on the outside. You don't want to do that because this is the middle of the map. This is where Shaq is and a bunch of... If she has Lithe, for instance, right? Say she has Lithe and she goes, fuck you, and then she bounces and she goes all the way out. You are not catching her for another 20 seconds.
Oi, 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 YouTube. It's great to see you. We're finally back. We took a little while off to move, and if you couldn't tell, we're in a very temporary setup. We're building a desk. There's stuff everywhere for paint, and it's crazy over here. But I'm glad you guys are doing well. I hope you've unclenched your jaw and had your water today. Obviously, we are doing a gameplay review video. And today's gameplay review is going to go over why the direction that you are chasing survivors sometimes is giving them free outs, free window vaults, free pallet throws, etc. And despite the fact that you might have a good game, doesn't mean there isn't things that you can do to improve. So that's what today's video is. If you guys want to be part of our gameplay reviews, head on over to our Discord. Link is in the description. You can upload footage, and every Tuesday we review as much of that footage as we can. Not for me to flex or show how great I am at the game, but so I can help you guys get better and enjoy your experience just a little bit more. So I hope you guys liked today's video. Thanks for coming through, and I'll be praying to the entity to see you guys in the next one.
I use game bar. The game bar's a little goofy. So one thing, starting off as Pyramid Head, I'm going to go ahead and just pull my face off screen. One thing starting off as Pyramid Head, this build isn't bad. Half of this build requires that you hook people, and then you have Retribution. I don't know what your builds look like, but this build's not very like Pyramid Head centric. Barbecue is not bad. You could, you know, it's good for the most part. It's fine. Pop is not a slowdown perk I think that I like on Pyramid Head. To be fair, Pyramid Head's so strong, he doesn't really need slowdown, like, to be honest with you. But you have to be very careful with Pop. Pop can sometimes put you in a situation where caging somebody is the better idea, but you have to get a Pop, goes the Weasel. And that's really fucking tough to deal with. But it's consistent, so, you know, we'll do what we can with it. I will go back here and say, I'm not a big fan of the early dragging of the blade. I don't think that's super, super smart. So this takes 20 seconds to refill, if I'm not mistaken. This takes 20, like once this is empty, it takes 20 seconds to come all the way back. That's really rough, right? 20 seconds is a long time. So there's no reason, like nobody spawned like around Shack, like nobody's in Shack right now. I don't think that dragging your blade makes any sense here. So I'm not sure what the intentionality was there, but it, you know, really here, so say somebody is on this gen, right? So say somebody is on this gen to your right, or somebody was on the totem, whatever. You don't have a lot of ability left to chase them with. And part of one of the big tenets for me of playing Pyramid Head is chasing with your blade in the ground. That's more effective if you have some rights of judgment that you can use to do that with. So you've burned all your rights of judgment for basically nothing, and the rights of judgment trail stays in the ground for I think 75 seconds. So the trail you just drug in the ground is going to disappear by the time you get into your first chase and capitalize on that. So I just you wasted your ability early for like nothing, for no value. So just be aware as killer, your actions need to be like all very intentional to some degree, and I don't think that benefited you at all. Okay, scratches. There you go. It's two people. Are we faking it and gonna go to the right? There you go, that's really smart. That's a really good hit right there. Just faking it like I'm going for David, I didn't see Fang, and then you turn and hit the Fang so she doesn't run or something. Super good, very, very smart. Excited to see kind of what you do. Very good down. A little bit risky. Okay, so just so you know, in the future, I can hear whatever fan you have going in your room through your headset. It's driving me crazy. Oh, it's also echoing. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, unplug your headset next time. Is there a range add-on? There's 2 range add-ons. The problem with range add-ons, you have to be careful, is they'll make you take worse shots. Range add-ons aren't super good for Pyramid Head, in my opinion. You heard somebody on the gen, so you took a blind shot. Most people will walk away, so taking a shot there, I think, is generally a waste of, you know, your time, but good shot. On controller, you guys might be able to see it, but on controller, when you're dragging your blade in the ground and you're holding the stick all the way to one side, when you're holding your stick all the way to one side, you'll see Pyramid Head sort of snaps a little bit instead of like turning smoothly. Like when you take the shot, he'll snap. So just be aware of that if you guys are console players with Pyramid Head. He lacks a bit of fluidity when actually taking shots on console. So, all right. Good stuff, though. Good chases. I don't know that this video was submitted to flex or to get better. Right now, things seem pretty easy. She got out of basement already. Everybody's within 40 meters. I don't know if you deduced that because you saw nobody on barbecue. You're like, okay, everybody's got to be pretty close right now. And you're not burning your Pop Goes the Weasel early, so pretty decent tenets. I think, I wouldn't be going out towards the corrupted gens. That's a colossal waste of your time because nobody can be on them. We do see Leon, though, so that's good. Yeah, 720p is really fuzzy, so just... Yeah, that happens a lot there. He was really smart in staying up there. He did drop early. That's why long shots are risky, and that's why I think the range add-ons are, like, not something that you should do very often, is because he either ran all the way through. I think he ran all the way through. He could have also doubled back and your range add-on would have mattered. Against really, like, kind of, I don't want to say brain-dead survivors, but survivors that autopilot, like, if he walked in, and this is a long wall jungle gym, so if he walked in and then went that way towards the window, this shot maybe would have hit him if he was autopiloting. So there's potential there. This isn't a bad lineup. I just think range add-ons often are fine. They're just not that good. A little bit of an assumption that he was gonna... Okay, let's see. Okay, you know that he's dodging you, so you didn't take the shot, which is smart. He went pretty wide, which would have been hard to hit. He got really stuck on that tree. Holy hell. Then you're prepping. All right, so be a little patient with your shots. I think you know that, right? Wait for him to confirm that he's going that direction instead of thinking he's going to go that direction. He did the cardinal sin. This is what you want people to do against Pyramid Head, right? Yeah, Retribution on its own, not a great perk. Like, you can see everybody now, but it's like you're about to get barbecue anyway, so... Not awful, but kind of eh. But yeah, that Leon ran that tile very wide, so by the time you vaulted the window, he had nothing. He couldn't go anywhere, so very smart. Pretty smart. What you tried to do there was line it up so that if they are going to run away from you, you'll hit them as they run. So that was really smart instead of just shooting it at the gen, which is a colossal waste. Okay. Street smarts. All right. So there's at least 2 people back here. I have a hard time believing they're going to let that gen go, but you do have a 3 gen here. That's the one thing I kind of noticed is at the beginning of the match, I don't know if you really paid attention to where your cluster of gens would be. And I think here you're a little bit too forgiving, but you find the Fang pretty immediately, so. And that's up to you, the individual, right? If I saw that Leon, like I see nobody else, I see Leon first, like, all right, sorry, Leon, I'm about to clap you. But you decided you didn't want to like play that way. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know that I would have singled out the Leon. The good news is this girl's already been hooked once. So yeah, we do need to chase this guy away. Scratches, yeah, he went out towards this. Smart. I would probably hit him once and then go back to your slug, but let's see what you do. Oof, that classic PS4. Oh, a little lag on his part. Okay, you're gonna stick on him. Not an awful idea. Yeah, I would cage him. I would not walk away. Oh, you're not gonna cage him. I would 100% cage him. That's okay. We're doing gameplay reviews? Yes. Check the VOD for my review. Haven't got there yet, Voltons. Haven't gotten to yours yet. So yeah, not not awful. The good news is you're going between Leon and Fang back and forth and back and forth. I think you could have hit that shot, but hard to say. Okay, so one thing to work on is dragging your blade while chasing. So if you had your Rites of Judgment in the ground, like you have so much of it that you could use here, right? If you had drug your Rites of Judgment in the ground, and this is always like kind of guessing game, but if you're dragging it in the ground, she's doing this, you wouldn't have to back off this pallet, right? You would just be able to chase her. And then if she throws the pallet, then, you know, you hit her. And if she doesn't throw the pallet, you hit her. So I think knowing that, I think there's some map knowledge to be learned here. There's the hay bale and there's this wood. This is almost always a pallet, like in 98% of scenarios. So you know, dragging your blade, being sure you're ready. Because if she threw in this pallet and decided to play it, you wouldn't be at a huge disadvantage, but it's more time. She could have been down 5 seconds ago. Yeah, you're still not dragging your blade. So you're missing a huge opportunity to get her to take the Torment status effect. So drag your blade way more in chases. It's going to pressure people. So like when you drag the blade, people are going to go, okay, if I throw this pallet, he's going to hit me. But if I don't throw the pallet, then he could get the M1. It's going to make people think a lot more instead of them just being random and like running in circles and doing. And this Fang clearly was not like super like kind of with it. I would say she wasn't running any of those tiles really well or anything. But you need to don't prep for the worst players, prep for the best players. Assume everybody knows exactly where the tiles are and they're going to hit every window and hit every pallet. At no point in that chase did you pressure with your blade at all, which is a huge problem. And I think that as that scales up, you need to realize that putting the blade in the ground, even if you don't fire, pressures people to do stupid shit. So just be super aware of that. Otherwise, you chase pretty well. The other thing I would also say, we'll go back here a little bit. Against a really good survivor, this could have like completely destroyed you. So what you're doing, so here, we're going to draw this out. So here's the wall and like here's the door, like the giant exit gate. And then here you have the long wall jungle gym. And that's like the window for it, right? And then you have this structure here and then, you know, all this fun stuff. And then like this is pallet. So you're chasing her. Survivor will be like yellow or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But so, you know, the survivor's running in and you're chasing her on the outside. You don't want to do that because this is the middle of the map. This is where Shaq is and a bunch of, if she has Lithe, for instance, right? Say she has Lithe and she goes, fuck you. And then she bounces and she goes all the way out. You are not catching her for another 20 seconds, right? So you're putting your pressure in a bit of the wrong spot, a little bit. What you would want to do is if you catch her going in, remember, this is the wall with the exit gate. There's not shit over here. If she goes in this way, as the killer, you kind of want to go in either directly behind her, which I don't think being directly behind her is smart, and you want to pressure this way. And that way, she's got to go through you or around you somehow. You want her to have to figure out, like, if she goes here to this pallet and then she comes around the corner, she sees you, she goes, oh, fuck, she's got to go back this way. You don't want to give her the easy escape route where she can go, bye, fuck you. You see what I'm saying? So you want to being like, you kind of want to put yourself in a spot where you're pushing her against the wall almost, where she has to go around you to get out, right? That's why, like, even if she drops this pallet here, like, say she drops this down, and, like, say, I don't know, you're on this side of it. So you're on that side of it, and she runs towards this. You wouldn't break this pallet. Like, if you see her go this way, you would try to come in this way and break it, you know, because you want to always put yourself in the better spot and put the survivor in the worst spot. So I think you're kind of just letting her get a lot of area. And luckily, she has no idea what she's doing with regards to taking that space from you. But if that were a survivor that were, like, up to snuff, you gave them free room. Like, if she didn't do that and she doubled back and hit the window, gone. So it worked out to your benefit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you played it well. It just means that she didn't play it well at all. So drag your blade in the ground a little bit more, and then realize where the obstacles are and push survivors away from them or push them into the wall. Hi, Courtney, by the way. Good to see you. More drag for mental pressure? Right. Well, and if the blade's already in the ground, if they decide to throw a pallet, you could just fucking shoot, and then you hit them anyway, right? So that's the big change is, like, if the blade's already in the ground, you'll hit your shots, right? Like here, like your blade should be in the ground. There's no world where, okay, so let me explain kind of how people juke Pyramid Head. Because it's a little weird. So we'll hit play on this and I'll pause kind of. Dylan dating advice win. Okay, let me make it super, super clear. Pushing the survivor against the wall comes really, really close to, like, in my mind, when you guys are talking about that being like a, I don't know, a pusher against the wall, like that's a joke. It seems like almost abusive. I don't really like that language, so we're going to cut that out now. So stop saying that shit in my chat. Thank you. Okay, not even asking, telling you. So, okay, so here. So let's draw this out. So you have this structure here and you have this structure here, and you have a pallet. The pallet's blue. So a lot of survivors, what they'll actually do is they'll run through and they'll make you think they're continuing the loop. And then they'll double back and toss the pallet right as you'll be like here and they run through. And then they'll double back right as you're here and they'll pallet stun you and keep going. That's why your blade needs to kind of always be in the ground, right? For some reason, you saw the pallet and were like, nah, I'm not really going to drag my blade right now, right? One thing you need to do as Pyramid Head is you need to 100% be getting people tormented. You cannot do that if you are not applying pressure with your blade. So that's one thing that I think in general, it doesn't hurt you to do, right? Is be dragging your blade as you loop this structure. But on top of that, if you drag your blade and you're looping, so a good example is she runs through this, right? And then you're following behind, right? And you get to about here. And this is where she rounds the corner. Say she wants to loop this. If your blade's in the ground, you can take the shot through here. And she won't expect it because you've been dragging your blade the whole time. It's like a Huntress hatchet, right? I said this in my How to Play Pyramid Head video. I don't know if you guys absorbed that very well. But with the How to Play Pyramid Head video, it's the same as Huntress. Like, people, when she pulls out her hatchet, they start dodging. But the longer she holds it, the more they're like, fuck, and their stuff becomes less random and more predictable. With Pyramid Head, if you drag your blade in the ground now, by the time you get to this section and she starts to round this corner, you fire right through the corner, you'll hit her. And that ends your chase seconds faster. I don't know how this chase ends, but you haven't drug your blade in the ground yet, and that makes me a little nervous that you're going to go like for an M1. Yeah, no blade in the ground. Now you're doing it. Right, but see how delayed you are? So, yeah. So this is the exact thing that I was talking about. With Huntress, right, a lot of survivors, she'll go whoop, whoa, right? And survivors know that timing, especially survivors who have paid attention. This Nia is doing the same shit with you, where you're going, boom, fire. And she's just guessing. She doesn't know, but she's guessing. But also your range add-ons are making it so that she has more time to dodge. What that kind of means with Pyramid Head is if you're right here as a killer, you're Pinkie Pie, and Survivor's yellow. All right. A survivor that is here is going to have a harder time dodging than a survivor is here because the shot rolls out in waves. Boop, 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 boop. You're taking really, really, really long shots. So this survivor can just go, nah, dude, I'm out. They see it coming and could go, fuck, that's crazy. And just dodge it, like sleepy time, right? Versus like this person has got less time because it rolls out like a wave. So again, we covered that in the Pyramid Head video, but try not to take your shots at like such a great length because it's just so unlikely that it would happen. What I probably would have done here, and I'll redraw the structure a little bit. So we have this, and then we have another hay bale, and then there's kind of a longer structure here. That's kind of what that looks like, I would imagine, right? So what I would have done if the pallet's like here, and I hope this is constructive. I hope I'm not being destructive here, but I would have drug my blade across, just put it in the ground, just walk with it. When you have your blade in the ground, you move at 110% movement speed. You are still faster than survivors. You will gain distance. Do not fear losing distance, right? But she's doing this shit. And what you did is you took a shot right here. You went, and she was like, nah, dude, the distance is fucking crazy. What are you doing? So I would have kept dragging my blade all the way through, right? And when she was like right here, because she's going to cut this as hard as she can. When she was like right here, right here, right here, you maybe could have taken a shot through this, or you could have just tried to get closer and get more pressure. So if you were like here, she's like, fuck, he's getting close. You just keep dragging her blade. You can shoot through the corner. If she throws the pallet, you hit her when you see what I'm saying? What you're doing is going like, I think she'll drop it, putting the blade in the ground, instead of going, my blade's in the ground, and if she drops it, I got her ass. That's the idea you need to have, instead of like, oh, she might drop it, so let me get prepped and then take a shot, and you're not waiting for evidence. You're playing a guessing game. You don't want to play the guessing game. You want to see, like, there's a pallet, she might drop it, let's pressure her into making a mistake, and then visually seeing the mistake and going, gotcha, bitch. That's what you want. You don't want to play the guessing game of like, I think she's going to do this, but I don't know. That puts you in bad spots. There you go. See, that's exactly what you need to do. That corner shot was ideal. That was the perfect corner shot. And here's the thing. When survivors lose line of sight with you, if they can see where Pyramid Head is looking, Pyramid Head will go, I shoot this way, huh? And they'll go, he looking that way, I'm gonna go this way. But because the boxes obstructed her from being able to see you, she may have done some of this shit and then moved into it, for all you know. But that's also the big thing, is like, if the survivor can see where you're coming, and that's why your shot on the Fang in like Shack worked, right? Is because the minute she enters Shack, she can't see you. So she's like, I'm not sure where the fuck he's aiming, so I'm just running, right? That's what you want more of, right? But you could have ended this chase way sooner with the exact same thing you just did. Just think about it early. That was good, though. That was really, really good. What's the benefit of caging versus hooking? If you cage somebody, they don't get to use Will Make It, D-Strike, Deliverance. A lot of their perks are immediately just unusable if it requires that they get unhooked. Caging also sends people across the map, which in a lot of cases, if used, that was a really good moonwalk, by the way, good stuff. He faked you out super good, though, so just be a little bit more patient there. But, oh, he's spinning you. So, okay, so this is something you're swinging from really far away. On console, get a lot closer before you swing, and you won't be missing as much. But you're doing the full lunge, and then like he's in front of you, and you're like, ah, and then he swings off to the side. So don't just get a little closer. If this is happening a lot, I don't know if this happens a lot, just get a little closer. And then if you see he's gonna swing to the left, instead of spinning to the left, just step left. He'll swing into your chest, and you'll be like, what's up, bitch? Like, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work, but try to do a little bit more strafing, because controller is a little bit harder to spin and get the exact motion. I would also get closer and increase your sensitivity. It feels like you're running like a 50 or 60. I would run like a 75, which is going to be weird, but it might be better. So, okay. There you go. Also, be careful not to overcompensate. Sometimes we like hold the stick really far left and then we spin it really far right. Yeah, so a little bit more diligence there. Okay, so you remembered where two people were. This is good. I don't know that I would pop this. Let's see if she runs when you pop it. She does. She didn't go far though. Okay, Fang is dead, right? This is a good chase to take. I don't know if you're prioritizing. Really fucking good shot. So let me break down that shot and why that worked. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit weird. Can we talk about how Pyramid Head just like straight arms everything? Okay, so here's the window, right, for this glowing window, which means that like kind of here-ish is the corner that she's gonna try to round, right? So here, let me actually change that. So this shot works super good, and this was good. I could tell you made micro adjustments where you're like, let me try to line this up, right? So the lockers are kind of like here-ish, right? And so here are the little locky. Let me draw a little cute little lockers. Okay, anyway. And then you obviously have this wall here, whatever. So the survivor hops the window. based on the way this Fang runs, it's basically hold W, but she might try to take a turn. So the way you're aiming now is to kind of take this angle, which means she's going to go boom and get hit by it. So that's what you need to predict. It looks like you're very much trying to figure out, all right, if she hops through this window and she goes this way, where can I shoot her best at? And that's how this works so incredibly well. And you hit her just on the end, which means she did dodge or try to double back at some point, or something happened. It was crazy. How come it's making you miss those shots even though I make the same shots and hit them all the time? It's because people are different, Tish. Done. All right. This team's got a lot of gens worked on. Your 3 gen's already busted, so it doesn't really matter which one you pop. But it was a good idea to hit her and then kick the gen. Tracking was a little bit off there. I think you knew that, though, so I don't think I need to say anything about it, really. Okay, good job coming back. He got you there. I would increase your controller sensitivity. I would also work on fluidity. So one thing that I have been working on a lot on controller is barely pressing on the sticks to get turns. And the higher sensitivity you have, the better. But when you're looking around, you don't want to be going like, you don't look like a sprinkler, right? And that's one thing on console. So turning your sensitivity up and then making smaller motions, in my opinion, and this is actually the good part of hearing this on console, is I can hear you clacking the stick when you're turning. But what that means is you're not getting as precise movement. You're just going, and that makes tracking hard. When he spun into you were like, huh. So try a little bit, turn the sense up a little, maybe. It's going to take some time to acclimate. I know it's going to be frustrating. You're going to derank a little bit. It's fine. You'll be okay, I promise. Play some Wraith. Don't play anyone complicated. But get used to just like pressing the stick barely. Does that make sense? Does that like make sense to everybody? It's 75. I would turn it up a little bit higher. Or just get used to like slower panning, maybe. I run at 75. I would just get maybe used to just the better motion. I think you'll track images better when you have smoother motion. Because what happens in my mind, this is how I process it. On mouse and PC, it's easier to track because I know exactly how much I want to move and I can control that exactly to the T because I have a mouse. On a controller, I over-rotate and I overspin my camera, which means that I miss things because I didn't mean to go that way. You know what? Does that make sense? I'm not saying you're doing bad. I would just work on smoother motion because it just in every sense of the word, it's going to make you a better killer. I think every time. I heard somebody call Billy easy to play yesterday. Well, all they did was back rev. Let's not judge. Thank you guys for the follows, by the way. I do see you guys. I just don't call out my followers. So again, we're taking the inside pocket. Again, the one thing I would just be careful about, and we'll I won't harp on this because you know what you did, but you know if this is the structure, like a long wall jungle gym, and then you got boop boop, and then you got this, and then you got fucking this thing and all this shit. Okay, that's not 100%. Don't judge me. That's the window. That's the palette. Again, if you have this sort of structure, you don't want to be the one on the inside. You want to push survivors inwards, or do like this, right? Because if you go around and push on the inside and then the survivor has lithe or some shit, then they get to go to the shack. So just don't give them the easy out. This worked out again for these guys because he didn't throw the pallet, he didn't do a lot. But you just want to be very careful because smarter survivors will make you hate everything. So directional pressure is super important. Yes, yeah. We're doing, Dagger, we're doing some gameplay reviews and we're just trying to give some tips. The game says Trickster is easy too. Yeah, that's the one I actually disagree with the most. The thing about the game tells you how easy a killer is to just like pick up and play. The rating isn't necessarily the skill ceiling. So like Nurse is incredibly frustrating to pick up and play, but Billy's pretty easy to pick up and play because you just run real fast with chainsaw, right? The curving is the ceiling. So, but I feel like, okay, so that was actually. That knee is actually just smart. So, see if she throws it. That was good. That was very good. You see what I mean about putting the blade in the ground? She knew the blade was in the ground, so she's like, fuck, I can't throw the pallet. Does that make sense? So doing it a little earlier, just having the blade in the ground prepped for any scenario. It's like the blade, Rites of Judgment, having Punishment of the Damned ready is your contingency plan for shit that goes wrong. So while you're at tiles and strong loops, they'll either step into the trail or, you know, they won't. That's a good thing. Or they'll get smacked in the face or they won't. So, you know what I mean? He's kind of the easiest range killer. That is absolutely not true. He's not any easier than Huntress is. His aim is actually more precise. I would dare to say Huntress is easier to play, like at a low level, just to pick up than he is. You have to hit 8 knives versus 1. Yeah, I don't think the Trickster rating it makes actually any sense. So you would say it's complexity to killers rather than the skill to play? I'm gonna stick to my original statement of like it's how easy is, like, how low is the floor. It's not how high is the ceiling. That's why people go, Billy's not easy. Yeah, well, Billy's ceiling is high. His floor is low. Not as low as Cannibals, but unfortunately, that's a whole different conversation. You know, and maybe Billy would just be medium. So that was a good match overall. Like, you have like you hit fucking great shots. Like, I know we talked a lot about things you could do better, but I want to go and reiterate, like, you hit really good shots. And I could tell that you were like, when you did take shots, you were lining it up and being intentional. You weren't just like throwing them out there. I would just drag your blade in the ground for far more pressure. It's gonna freak survivors out because they're gonna go, he's not shooting, or you're gonna see them like double back, and then eventually you either gain distance to get the M1 or you'll hit them anyway, right? So that's the one thing. It'll just make all your chases just like disgustingly fast. Pyramid Head is insanely